Radiant team.
Alright everybody, welcome back to H Cup. We are here in Group D for what I believe is our second to last best of three here, at least in this group's coverage. I'm Basskip. This is going to be EHOME versus the Wings Gaming. To my knowledge, this group has actually already been resolved. So EHOME are actually the one team that are going to be advancing out of this group, having beaten cdec in their earlier series. So EHOME are currently undefeated. They're 4-0. cdec ended up finishing this group 4-1. And even if EHOME lose this best of 3 2-0, the tiebreaker condition is head-to-head first. So EHOME have actually made it through into the playoffs, no matter what happens here. But still going to be playing this game for a little bit of pride on the line. Gods was explaining earlier to me about how this tournament feeds in to some other events later on as well, in terms of a point system and whatnot. I don't know if that's also the case for group placements or if it's only for playoff placements, so there could be a little bit of value there in terms of Wings leapfrogging somebody in the overall group standings, but we're not going to be seeing them in the playoffs over the course of the next couple of days, and I think that's what most people are wondering about. EHOME have been looking pretty strong. As I said, they came into this series undefeated so far in H Cup and dealt with cdec fairly comfortably, I would say, in their earlier series, so we'll see what they can do here against the Wings. EHOME banning out a Wisp and a Venomancer. I think Venomancer is actually a hero that Wings have been playing a decent amount of recently. I was looking over some of their recent matches, and it looks like they have been grabbing it a little bit here and there, or at least there was at least the one game in the last 8 days, and that was played against ig.vitality. In terms of overall style, going pretty pushy. Offlane hero tends to pretty much always be some sort of initiator slash tempo controller, so Void, Beastmaster, Slardar, Tidehunter. The one slight departure from that is the Nature's Prophet, which they played against vg.reborn not too long ago. I think that was 6 days ago, but otherwise sort of what you'd expect. I think they've even had a Centaur and a Clockwork in the last week, so plenty of initiation coming from the offlane. Invoker, popular for them as it is for everybody this patch, so grabbing that one up early on. They get the Crystal Maiden as the somewhat answer to the Chen. Frostbite some creeps, make him a little bit annoyed. Not necessarily a hard counter by any means, but still definitely a nice hero to have. And EHOME, well, wasting no time, they're going to grab themselves a Juggernaut, and they've got a ton of push sustain now and a ton of early teamfight sustain as well. So we're going to have to see what the Wings can do about that, as some bans get targeted over towards the offlane, it looks like, here by the Wings. When you've got the Crystal Maiden, you don't really have the best methods to deal with the Broodmother, so I do agree with that ban. And for EHOME, just get rid of the bounty. Haven't shown what they're going to be putting on mid lane just yet, but I suppose they are worried about potentially the Bounty Hunter and the Crystal Maiden teaming up to roam mid, though that would be a little bit strange to my mind. I feel like we're probably going to see the Crystal Maiden half jungling, half roaming, and then probably another lane support more than likely, but we'll see what they're feeling. EHOME have already chewed up a little bit of their reserve time, considering exactly what they want to get rid of. It does seem like Wings' overall style is also somewhat pushy, reasonably aggressive. They've been picking Death Prophet, they've picked some Pugna as well in the last week or so, which I believe is what's prompting this Pugna ban out from
5 seconds remaining.
It's prompting the Pugna ban out from EHOME there. And let me, some people are letting me know about some audio stuff. Can I turn down the in-game music slightly?
Radiant team pick.
Yeah, that I can. Here, I'll just adjust that really quickly. I've changed some audio stuff on my computer, and I haven't been streaming a ton. Well, I haven't been casting a whole ton recently, so if you guys have any audio adjustments that need to happen, microphone goes up, game volume goes down, just let me know and I can sort that out for you. EHOME are now going to grab themselves an OD. I like this hero for a number of reasons. He's good with a little bit of extra HP behind him. We've seen that time and time again with OD plus Omni. I think somewhat underrated is OD plus Abaddon. And the exact same thing works here with the Chen and the Juggernaut. You've got extra sources of health so that the OD can just sit on the front lines and right-click people to his heart's content, which is exactly what he wants to do. I think he's also quite a good setup for Chen in this game. You get an imprisonment off, you've got 4 seconds for Chen to run in with a Centaur or an Ursa or whatever, and potentially get that kill on the Invokers. So definitely a little bit of nice potential there. Could potentially be ganked by the Crystal Maiden. They've also got the Mirana here now on wings, so it looks like we might be seeing a decent amount of pressure being applied towards mid lane this game. I would love to see a core Mirana potentially. I've seen a couple of people, at least in pubs, in fairly high level pubs, playing that recently with effectively using the arrow as a Midas and just farming off that the side camp. But I think it's more than likely just going to be a support grab here. I do feel like wings are a little bit lacking on the deep push right now, which could be a bit of a concern for them. EHOME just going to layer on even more team fight as they grab the Faceless Void. So it looks like at the moment they both have push superiority and team fight superiority. So wings are going to have to either put together some kind of a split push angle here, I think, or grab themselves some team fight to be able to fight back. As I was saying, they do tend to pick a decent amount of team fight / initiation for their off lanes, so we're probably looking at that, and that might help to bolster things a little bit here. In terms of other options, what do we have? Earth Spirit's been banned. Doom is still in the pool, could be alright. Eat some Chen creeps, Doom some ODs, potentially even Doom the Faceless Void if he doesn't get the Chrono off. Could definitely be good. And this Faceless Void pick actually looks really good this game. There's hardly any solid lockdown to make damage stick against the Time Walk, and that's gonna mean that it's pretty straightforward to get the Chronosphere off here. Oh, what are wings gonna do? Oh, it's just gonna pick anti-mage.
EHOME's turn.
Are they just gonna lose this game in like 20 minutes? I do not know. There's zero deep push. There's a little bit to set up for the Invoker if the Crystal Maiden and the Mirana can go absolutely crazy and land a million arrows in the early game and get a bunch of kills and set up some Sunstrikes. There's some potential there, but this anti-mage plus Invoker seems a little bit greedy. They're gonna have to really rein things in with the offlane. And who's even there? If they pick something like a Centaur, they're gonna have to wait for a blink. They could pick a Clockwork, but I just don't really see him killing anybody this game, unfortunately. They need an actual stun. They need some actual disable. Maybe they just have to go for the Doom. Maybe that's just the play here. Beastmaster's been banned out. Makes sense. Again, wings just need any item independent offlane with a stun that they can get.
Reserve time.
It is. I will, of course, mention once again that this game doesn't really count for anything other than pride, and unless, as I was saying, there could be some points involvement or something like that, depending on how that whole system works for iLeague and Star Ladder and whatnot. But I think for the most part, this is just for pride here. But wings. Okay, what do they get rid of? They just have to ban a support. There are tons of good supports still available for EHOME. Lion's still in the pool if they want more lockdown for the anti-mage and more gank for the Invoker. The Witch Doctor's still there if they want even more sustain and they want some more damage to throw into the Chronosphere. If they want even more push, there's Jakiro. Shadow Shaman also an option. They've got a little bit of Roshan potential between, actually quite a bit of Roshan potential between the Juggernaut and the OD, but a little bit more would not go amiss. The Lion's going to get banned, but the Shadow Shaman comes right out. That's no problem whatsoever for EHOME. Not even a moment's hesitation there, and wings with only 9 seconds of reserve time remaining are going to have to come up with some kind of special offlane here. What's it gonna be? Is there anyone that I'm missing?
10 seconds remaining.
Think. They could pick Nyx Assassin. I mean, Nyx Assassin does run around like an idiot and tries to find kills, but he's really weak against 5 men, and that's kind of what they're also lacking, is any way to initiate into a 5-man setup,
Axe.
or potentially get pickoffs before that even happens. But Wing is just gonna go for an axe here. I have not seen a whole lot of this hero recently. I think that's with good reason, but is potentially a hero that can get involved in the early game and apply a little bit of pressure. So we'll see what he can do here. I don't know if he's gonna get a good blink timing at all, but we can only hope. So I'm just gonna wait on everybody to pick up their heroes. Everyone's ready to go except for the Void. Okay. So I guess the other
10
question is what kind
remaining.
of build the Invoker goes for. Does a
5
Quaswex
seconds
Invoker help
remaining.
to fix any of the issues that they're going to have this game? The EMP is really good. I won't argue with that. There are definitely plenty of heroes on EHOME that are going to struggle if they get all of their mana burn, but if they don't get all of their mana burn, then there's always going to be Essence Aura to help top them off. So we've had a quick pause, but looks like we can get ourselves right underway with this game. This best of 3 is for H-Cup, and this is EHOME versus Wings. Over on EHOME, we've got Lamb on Jug, we've got Ice Ice Ice, once again handling the Chen. We saw him playing that a little bit earlier against cdec. Was an alright performance from him. Had some pretty nice creep selection, and managed to get some alright rotations off. His Tusk game was much less successful, but we won't talk about that. They still ended up winning. We've got Fenrir on the Shadow Shaman. Old Chicken is going to be on the OD. And we've got 11 on the Faceless Void. My Smooth Drag is being a little bit... Oh, I don't have to click to Smooth Drag. It's just activating when I hit the button. Alright, that's weird. Anyway, over on Wings, we have Ice Ice on Crystal Maiden. We've got Innocence on the Murano. We've got Shadow on the Anti-Mage. We've got a big 4-man rotation coming up into the enemy
30
jungle right now, but they're not
seconds to
going to find
battle.
anything. As Faith, Bjorn is going to be on the Axe, and that leaves... Oh boy. I should know this. That is Blink on the Invoker. Alright, so it looks like they're going to be leaving the Axe to solo the safe lane. EHOME not heading towards the top lane at all at the moment. Bottom lane looks like it's definitely theirs.
The battle
Very slow
begins.
movement from Wings making their way down right now. We're going to scout things out with the arrow. So it looks like it's going to be a bounty rune apiece here. Ice 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 just going to be starting off over here at the side camp. And we've got Fenrir. Looks like he's actually going to be joining him early on here. He's got some boots first on his Shadow Shaman, so might be looking to get something set up with the Chen pretty early on. And Chen even going to make his way all the way over into the Radiant jungle here. Perhaps look for a camp. Look for a creep over that way. Alright, so this is super weird. So Wings have dodged the bottom lane to try and give themselves a bunch of easy farm for the Axe so that they can somewhat guarantee this Blink Dagger and make sure that they have some kind of initiation and fight once that mid-game kind of rolls around. Murana's roaming around on the top side. Hasn't really done anything too interesting just yet. Is she going to come and eat up this big creep, or is she going to try for the arrow over towards mid? We shall have to see. Innocence, what is the game plan right now? I am getting some frame rate lag right now. Let's see if I can do anything about that. It seems to have helped a little bit. Alright, there you go. So, it looks like EHOME have realized exactly what's going on here, that they want to try and get this Axe a fast blink, and that he's the one real saving hope, I think, for Wings. So they're just going to come and pressure him and cut the wave and just really be nuisances overall. Murano looking for the arrow, is going to find it on the Fenrir. Axe is running in, but this Satyr is going to put an end to that, and that's just going to be... That's going to be it. Old 11's just holding the creep wave right in place, farming up pretty happily. 11 and 6 for him right now. Only 4 CS for the Axe, despite being down in the safe lane. Meanwhile, Invoker's holding his own on mid lane, though has had a little bit of intelligence sapped away. So that's going to make CSing a little bit more difficult. It looks like we're now having the supports completely rotate away from top. They're just going to leave AM to do his best up there. And Ice and Innocence are going to try and get involved on the other lanes.
You should have known.
So it does seem, in terms of overall CS, that it's just going to be EHOME pulling ahead here. Lamb manages to deal a ton of damage to the anti-mage just with the spin there. Nice and easy. AM was actually trying to man up on him a little bit with the mana break. Gets the last little bit of his mana pool, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. They've both got poor-man shields, so trading auto attacks isn't going to do all that much. But alright, so things have settled down a little bit. Crystal Maiden's over in her own jungle again. Chen's back in his own jungle. We've got some crazy neutral stacking going on over here right now, and if ISS realizes what's going on there, might be able to move another Wild Wing Ripper in that direction and soak some of that up. Mirana is once again in the mid lane, only 25 experience to her name right now. I've got a little bit, no, not a wraparound, just Fenrir zoning a little bit here. I mean, Innocence does have the Arcane Aura as well, so I feel like he could be nuking down some big creeps and generating some experience here, but instead it's just continually hoping for the arrow angles and not really finding anything. And yeah, that Wild Wing Ripper, it's coming up. Nice. Nice little sidestep there. And Lamb looks like he just wants to try and force out the leap, but there is no leap because it's a level 1 Mirana, and down she goes. Fenrir in a little bit of trouble, getting right-clicked down by Shadow. Looks like he is going to be able to make this a 1-for-1 and get out scot-free. Takes a little bit of damage in return. But at the same time, it's actually the Faceless Void going down on bottom lane. Crystal Maiden and the Axe able to team up and pick up that kill, so nice little grab there. Ice randomly cancels a TP. I think he maybe just wanted to use the Clarity instead, but alright. And Lamb in trouble, top lane, gonna get right-clicked down. Did he get arrowed?
Get thee to the understanding.
I mean, he must have, right? Yeah, alright. So got arrowed, took a bunch of damage, got right-clicked down by the anti-mage, who now has 2 kills to his name. And despite a pretty big CS deficit, Wings are actually leading pretty heavily on kills. Yeah, a little bit too early to say, but this is better than I was expecting the early game to go for them. And
Dire's bottom tower
I think Axe picked up the last hit on that kill. Yeah, so Axe picked up the last hit on the Faceless Void. Big chunk of gold for him. And this is actually looking like it should be a pretty reasonable blink timing. So I'm going to eat my words, saying that I didn't think Axe was going to get a decent blink dagger timing at all. And hope is still alive for Wings right now. And Innocence gonna look for another arrow here. No, not this time. Good angle, comes over the trees, but Lamb was already just backing up a little bit too far. And we are gonna see Fenrir and Ice. They've been grouped up together pretty much the entire game so far, aside from the brief moment where they split up over here, but they're going to be regrouping once again and making their way down towards the bottom lane. The Faceless Void does have a Chronosphere at the ready. Invoker's got the Sunstrike available as well, just because Invoke is off cooldown. They come in aggressively, but Battle Hunger is going to keep Old 11 away a little bit. They need to be careful. Fenrir's coming in. Gonna look for the shackles. Old 11 might go for the jump to get the double Satyr Blast out. Ice's taking a decent amount of damage, but he's found a little juke into the trees to get the call off. Old 11 unable to drop the chrono just yet. Fenrir gonna get Sunstruck, but there's a bunch of creeps to soak it up. Ice is down. And now Axe, a little bit of trouble, getting juked around in circles. More Satyr shockwaves coming out. And it is gonna be a double kill for Old 11. Alright, successful rotation from Fenrir, and Ice is gonna even up the kill score and just knock Axe down a peg as well. And meanwhile, just chopping both Innocence and Shadow on top lane, but Anti-Mage just got his Ring of Health, so he's not too concerned. Marana's got a couple of tangos as well, looks for the arrow, but just finds the creep. And Lamb can keep on farming the bottom lane. They did some really good damage to the tier 1 tower. A couple of TP's gonna come in. Fenrir is awkwardly stuck back behind the tier 1, but it's just gonna be able to TP back as Jug dies. Did they land the arrow?
Radiant's bottom tower
Nope,
is under
it's
attack.
off cooldown. Looks like they just blinked on him and auto attacked him down.
Radiant's
Tower is going to end up
bottom
dropping
tower
to the
is
Faceless Void. Axe continues pursuit. Needs to get a few more spins, but Time Walk is going to be there. Slowing him up a little bit. The arrow's coming in though, and that's going to find Fenrir. Sunspike as well. Going to bring him down. Now the axe still pretty tanky. Got another call off, but the armor's not going to be enough. That's 2 down, and Innocence has a leap, but no TP. Gonna pop some Fairy Fires, but Sanity's Eclipse puts an end to that one. That is 3 kills for 1 for EHOME as they also take this tower on bottom lane.
Dire's middle tower is under
Lane
attack.
is continuing to struggle top against this anti-mage, however, so AIM at least finding some pretty good farm. Jug only 25 CS to his name, anti-mage with 37 and 17 denies, so Jug probably not as happy on top lane, but they don't need him to get a ton of farm, just needs to get probably his Aquila, his drum, maybe a Yasha, and I feel like EHOME are just going to be grouping up and 5-manning a whole lot. Chen's doing really well, already has his Arcane Boots up, so the mech timing should be alright this game, and they are continuing to put really good pressure on this axe here. Ice would love to somehow kill those Tranquil Boots. Are they going to be able to imprison him? No. Alright. No dice. Were they actually spotted? No, looks like the OD may have just been spotted coming up the hill by this ward. Over here, yeah. Alright, so that is what prompted Axe to pick up his boots and
Dire's
run.
middle tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, what are we seeing from Old 11? Just as a Sage's Mask picked up at the moment, likely just going to be seeing the early Vlad's build from him, if I had to guess. Blink Dagger also pretty solid. Are going to come in mid, but no chance of finding Old Chicken. Invoker did not really get pressured at all, however, on the mid lane. I was anticipating that the Shadow Shaman and the Chen were going to be looking to put pressure mid, along with the help from the Astral to set up the ganks, but because of Innocence and the Crystal Maiden running around and making space, and kind of forcing a response out of Ice and Fenrir, it had, that can't be good. Alright, he didn't lose his Tranquil Boots, but that was certainly not intentional. That is 209 gold down the drain. But back to that thought, Invoker, because he didn't get pressured mid, does have a pretty timely Midas, so
Radiant's
looks
middle
like his
tower
game
is
is
under attack.
looking relatively secure here. They've already lost the tier 1 bottom. They're going to take some damage on the tier 1 mid as they try and come up and take a tier 1 on the safe lane of their own. It is always really important when you're playing a lineup with anti-mage to try and trade relatively even on the towers. If you lose all of your tier 1s and you haven't taken any, then there's just nowhere for the anti-mage to farm, but at the very least, if you lose all of your tier 1s, but you've managed to take even just this safe lane tier 1, then the anti-mage at least opens up, you know, this kind of side of the dire jungle for himself to be able to farm and to be able to push out top lane. So I do have to make sure that they're at least taking chip damage wherever they can get it, if they feel like they can't defend the buildings, since they do probably need to have that Axe Blink before they can really take 5-on-5 fights. Old 11 does already have his Vlads completed and another 500 gold. He's your lead net worth hero at the moment. So you do have 3 EHOME heroes rotating up towards top lane, just taking a little quiet opportunity down on bottom lane to actually grab some CS and start picking up some items, since he has been struggling a little bit. And Wings, 3-man smoke gonna make its way around the side here. No Axe Blink just yet. They're gambling pretty big on this one, but looks like it may end up paying off. There is the Hand of God to contest with, and the Chronosphere as well from Old 11. Lockdown, as always, is a little bit lackluster, but they might be able to find the Chen if Ice comes around this corner a little bit further. Arrow's gonna catch him. Sunstrike comes in as well. This should be a really easy kill for the Axe. Goes for the dunk. They get the move speed. And now can they find anyone else? Fenrir caught out, gets called. Old 11 gets frostbitten. We'll be able to keep on fighting, and no further attempts on Fenrir's life. As Old 11 just going to start right-clicking away, drops a 3-man Chronosphere, should be able to get Ice. Gets cold snapped up for his trouble. Old Chicken comes running in. They get the leap move speed, but that's about it as Mirana's slated to fall. And now Shadow in trouble. The pure damage is way too much for Anti-Mage. He just gets right-clicked down. And what looked like a promising start for Wings in that fight falls apart entirely as EHOME bring the rest of their heroes into position. And that was a sick Chronosphere.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Such a good Faceless Void game.
Radiant's
Alright.
top tower has
Ice gets it with the creeps.
Dire's
Old
middle
11
tower
and Lamb
is
were
under
both
attack.
trying for that last bit. But neither of them's going to end up getting it. Innocence
Radiant's
has
top tower
found
is
his way
under
over into the
attack.
trees. If he reveals that he's here, he may actually
Dire's
die.
middle tower
Does have the
is
leap
under
to run a
attack.
little bit further down, potentially. Alright, he's been slowed. You've got leap, but you've been bashed. Just gonna keep on running. He's alive. He pulled the creep wave off as well, so he's gonna save this tower. A little bit of health potentially, but Old 11's just tanking it up. And that's why the time off. Ready to go.
Radiant structures are fortified.
You don't even have Mass Serpent Wards. Looks like they might be able to get this tower. No disaster! Cold Snap and the Sunstrike come in. Along with the arrow. Lamb is gonna end up tanking that one. Bottom lane, Fitbjorn in some trouble. Can they save him with the Moonlight Shadow? No, won't be able to. Shadow's gonna end up going down. Ice saved by the imprisonment, and now Ice, well, not quite so lucky. He's gonna be brought down. Triple kill for Old Chicken. And despite a great save on top lane and finding the one kill, they're still gonna end up losing 3 on this bottom side of the map. Hand of God was expended, but well worth it. And EHOME, are they just gonna head straight into the pit? You better believe it. Actually had a double damage up for Old Chicken that fight. And with that triple kill, he is going to take the #1 net worth spot. 11, meanwhile, just going to make sure that they hang on to this tier 1 tower on top lane, so denying that space to the anti-mage, and my god, this Roshan dies easy with 45 still in. Oh boy. Invoker's got a bunch of gold at the very least. So that's good news. Axe, how's that Blink Dagger, my man? That is the item right now that Wing is desperately need. And even once they get it, I am not sure if it's going to change the game necessarily. There's lots of different disables, there's lots of different saves on the EHOME side, so unless you're catching 2 or 3 heroes, I'm not sure if you're killing anyone. And even if you do catch 2 or 3 heroes, if one of them isn't the Chen, then Mech and Hand of God are both a lot of healing to contest with. And I got some hits being traded top lane. This is Void versus Anti-Mage. But it's Fenrir and Ice looking for the wraparound here on mid. We've got Old Chicken a little bit further off to the side, but he does not have the Aegis. That's over on Lamb. I think he's decided that 3 deaths is too many so far this game,
bottom tower is under attack.
He's going to be hanging on to that one. I don't quite understand why it's on him instead of the OD. The OD does crazy damage. I mean, sure, he's only got 1 Sanity's Eclipse, but the Jug's only got 1 Omni Slash. And I guess Jug is more likely to be on the front lines. The OD can kind of join fights at any time with the Blink Dagger and can potentially save himself from imprisonment. They're going to jump out. They've got this Blink. They're going to look for the kill. Onto the Chen. They do manage to blow him up with the Sunstrike. Fenrir gets bitten up and still manages to throw the Shackles over. Onto the Axe. It doesn't get interrupted by the Deafening Blast because it's not a stun. Ice is over in the trees, but one more auto attack is going to finish him off, and now Innocence is being found out by Lamb. Looking for this last auto attack to find the kill. Had the phase boots off cooldown. That's going to get him one more hit. Innocence looking to juke around this tree, but you can't path around this side. And Lamb is going to end up finding the kill. Ice dies for his team, but another 4 for 1. And EHOME just continuing to snowball this game. 7.5k the net worth lead. Almost 7.5k the experience lead. And an easy tier 1 tower takedown. At the very least, Wings have managed to take the tier 1 mid, so they're not completely uneven in terms of towers, but we've got 5 towers taken for EHOME and a measly 1 taken for Wings. So, despite that, Anti-Mage still making a little bit of use of the Dire Jungle right now, but no Battle Fury just yet. That big Axe Blink Dagger reveal turned out to be a little bit of a flop, but there is now a Yule Scepter potentially on the Invoker, so a bit more pick-off potential there. But where exactly they're going to find that pick-off, I'm not sure. Vision is a little bit sparse right now, just kind of keeping eyes over their own jungle. It was probably placed down somewhat for the rotations, and also just to try and secure the Axe's Blink. Oh, they have managed to find Old 11 on mid lane. Get the call off, and into the Sunstrike. They managed to bring him down. Did they land the arrow? Yeah, they did manage to land the arrow. I think he probably got called first, but good combo, good gold coming in. I think that's what it. Oh my god, that's disgusting. That's a 1,500 gold swing off 1 kill, which just kind of speaks to how far ahead EHOME are at the moment. Shadow, Blink, jump in. They've got a ton of lockdown here, but is it going to be enough? He's still relatively tanky. Moonlight Shadow coming in. Not going to be required to save him, but going
Dire's
to be able
middle
to
tower is
survive
under
and
attack.
blink away to continue farming. So Battle Fury will be up in about a minute or so, probably a little bit less. Innocence has managed to get some really good levels. I don't know how this happened, given that he was level 1 for like 4 or 5 minutes at the start of the game, but looks like started to throw out some arrows, started to clean up some camps. So it's going to be a bit of a nuisance for the Chen as well, since whenever he tries to rebuild his army, he's probably going to find a bunch of these camps with just a little creep in it. I don't think it's going to be too much of a concern. I don't quite know why Ice popped his Hand of God there instead of his mech. Maybe he was just trying to heal up his creeps or something. Alright, no Hand of God. Ice is in position on the side to try and get off a good freezing feel. They're going to have Axe lurking in this little patch of fog, looking for a call, but Lamb has his Diffusal Blade, has the Aegis.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
He's going to be able to do a decent amount of damage here. Since getting caught out on the side, Ice is dead. Chrono just for the Mirana. Can they actually get this kill? Leap has already been used, so Fenrir's going to jump in and finish that one. And Ice looping around, double troll trap. They've got the imprisonment. Can Faith actually save him here? Jumps in, gets the call off onto Old Chicken, but he's still going to take decent damage. The armor is not enough. Sanity's Eclipse gets dropped. Axe is gone. One more auto attack is going to put an end to the Invoker. And that is going to be it for this team fight on mid. And EHOME probably is going to head straight up onto the high ground. Shadow doing his best. Will be able to push out bottom lane. Has his Battle Fury completed, but I think they are about to lose the laner Axe here.
Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's middle
Old
tower
Chicken's
is
just
under
going ham.
attack.
3 hits, the Crystal Maiden, puts himself
Radiant's
under, he's
middle
going
tower
to
has
be okay.
fallen. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle barracks are under attack. Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
I really just feel like Wings got
Radiant's
outdrafted
middle
this game.
barracks has fallen. Dire's
Such a good
structures
Faceless
are
Void pick.
fortified.
The push lineup is
Dire's bottom
really
tower
obvious
has
as
been
well
denied.
from the early grab. Shadow actually slid up a lot here. The double Diffusal Blade going to work. Just going to get right click down. Could not blink because of the time dilation. That's just going to be another one on the pile for Old Chicken. 12-0-3, and Ice has had enough. Get him out of this game. That is going to be it for game 1, as Wings are going to end up calling the GG.
Victory.
I don't know what else to say, guys. I'm sorry, but I looked at the draft and I was like, Wings, are you going to lose this game in 20 minutes? Well, they lost it in 1937, but we'll have to see if they can put something a little bit better together for the second game. Thank you for watching HCup, guys, and I'll see you very soon.